No one tells you this part about being a parent. I'm 68 years old. I have 3 children, and my phone, it barely rings anymore. You might think they're ungrateful, selfish even. That's what I told myself for the first year. But last Tuesday, I was going through some old boxes in the attic, and I found something that made me realize this silence, I earned it. And what I'm about to tell you might be the hardest thing I've ever admitted to myself. My name is Michael. Well, everyone calls me Mike. I worked in accounting for 37 years, married to my wife Janet for 42 years before she passed 3 years ago. We had 3 kids, Emma, David, and Sophie. On paper, I did everything right, provided for my family, never missed a mortgage payment, put all 3 through university without them taking loans. I was proud of that. I wasn't a bad father. I never raised my hand, never drank too much. I was there, physically at least. But here's what I'm learning now. Sitting in this house that's too big for one person. Being there and being present are 2 completely different things. Let me take you back. It's a Saturday morning in 1994. Emma's 8, David's 6, Sophie's 4. Emma runs into the kitchen holding a drawing. I'm reading the newspaper, coffee in hand, already mentally at the office even though it's the weekend. Daddy, look, I drew our family. That's nice, sweetheart. Put it on the fridge. I didn't even look up, not properly. You might think, so what? You were tired, you were providing, and you'd be right. But here's the thing I didn't understand then. Kids don't remember how many hours you worked. They remember whether you saw them. David wanted to show me how he could ride his bike without training wheels. Later, son, Daddy's got to finish this report. Later never came. Sophie would ask, Daddy, can you read me a story? Ask Mummy, I've got an early meeting tomorrow. And Janet carried everything I wouldn't. Every school play I missed, every scraped knee, every nightmare in the middle of the night, every conversation about friends, fears, dreams. I thought I was being a man, a provider. I was really just absent. The years blur together when you're not paying attention. Suddenly, Emma's 16, David's 14, Sophie's 12. Emma gets accepted to university in Edinburgh. She's excited and nervous. She comes to tell me while I'm watching the news. Dad, I got in. I got into Edinburgh. Oh, that's great. Well done. She stood there for a moment. I remember the look on her face now, waiting for something more. I had nothing more to give. That was the moment. I didn't know it then, but that was when she started pulling away. David got into trouble at school, fighting. The head teacher called us in. Janet went. I had a client meeting I couldn't miss. That's what I told myself. When I got home that evening, David was in his room. Door closed, music playing. I knocked. David, you all right? Yeah, good. Don't do it again. That was the conversation. 15 seconds. 15 seconds to address whatever pain he was feeling that made him throw a punch in the first place. You know what he needed? He needed me to sit on the edge of his bed and say, talk to me. What's really going on? But I didn't know how to do that. My father never did it for me, so I didn't know how to do it for him. Sophie was the youngest, the one who kept trying the longest. She'd leave little notes on my briefcase. I love you, Daddy, with hearts drawn in pink marker. I'd see them, smile, throw them away. I thought there would always be time. That's the lie we tell ourselves, isn't it? There's always tomorrow, always next weekend, always after this project finishes. Janet got sick 5 years ago. Cancer. The doctors said she had maybe 18 months. And suddenly, everyone came home. Emma flew in from Edinburgh, where she'd been working. David drove up from London. Sophie came from Manchester. They came for their mother. We'd sit around her hospital bed, and they'd talk, really talk, laugh, remember things. Janet would hold their hands and she just knew them. really knew them. And I sat there realizing I didn't. I didn't know Emma had been in therapy for 2 years. I didn't know David had just ended a 3-year relationship. I didn't know Sophie had changed careers and was terrified but excited. Janet knew all of it. She'd been their parent, while I'd been, what, present in body, absent in every way that mattered. 3 weeks before Janet died, she squeezed my hand and said, "Mike, you need to talk to them, really talk to them, before it's too late." I said, "I will, I promise." But I didn't know how. And when she died, they had each other. They had their grief and their memories and their inside jokes and their shared history. And I had my work stories, my practical advice, my chin-up mentality. Nobody needed that. After the funeral, they left, back to their lives. And the calls became weekly, then monthly, then birthdays and Christmas. I kept thinking they'd come around, that they were just busy. But last year, on Father's Day, I waited all day for the phone to ring. It didn't. That's when I found the box in the attic. It was full of things Janet had saved. Every drawing Emma ever made, including that one from 1994. Our family. 4 stick figures. Mummy was smiling. Emma, David, and Sophie were smiling. I had no mouth. Even at 8 years old, she saw it. There were school programs, plays I missed, David's football matches, Sophie's violin recitals. Janet had attended every single one. She'd written little notes on them. Emma was wonderful tonight. David scored a goal. Sophie played her heart out. And on some of them, Mike couldn't make it work. I found a journal Janet had kept. Just fragments, nothing fancy. But one entry from about 15 years ago stopped me cold. The kids asked where Mike was today. I said work. Emma said, "Daddy's always at work." I didn't know what to say, because she's right. I'm angry at him, but I'm also sad for him. He's missing them growing up, and one day he'll realize what he lost, and it'll break him. She knew. She knew before I did. And sitting there on that attic floor, surrounded by all these pieces of a life I was present for but never really lived, I finally understood. My kids don't call because I never taught them that I was someone worth calling. I never asked about their day and meant it. Never sat with their pain, never celebrated their joy properly, never made them feel like they were more important than anything else in the world, because to me, they weren't. Not in my actions, anyway. And children learn what love looks like from how you love them. I showed them that love looks like absence, like duty, like providing money, but not presence. So why would they call someone who never really called for them? If you're watching this and you have children, or if you plan to someday, please listen to me. Your children don't need a perfect parent. They don't need someone who never makes mistakes or always has the answers. They need someone who sees them, really sees them. Put down your phone when they talk to you. Not sometimes, every time. Look at them. Let them know that in that moment, nothing else exists. Ask them questions. Not, "How was school?" Ask, "What made you laugh today? What made you sad? What are you scared of? What are you excited about?" And then listen. Actually listen. Don't think about what you're going to say next. Don't fix it. Just hear them. Be at the recital. Be at the match. Be at the play. And if you absolutely can't be there physically, call them after. Not a text, a call. Tell me everything. I want to hear your voice telling me about it. Tell them you're proud of them, not for achievements, for trying, for being kind, for being themselves. Say the words out loud, often, and when they're in pain, sit with them in it. Don't rush to fix it. Don't tell them to toughen up. Just be there. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Because here's what I know now, at 68, sitting in a house full of ghosts. Your children are only yours for a moment, a brief, precious, irreplaceable moment. And when that moment passes, they don't owe you anything. Not their time, not their calls, not their presence. You have to earn it by giving them yours. I'm trying now. I've reached out to Emma, David, and Sophie, sent each of them a letter, not a text, a letter, in my own handwriting. I didn't make excuses. I just told them the truth. I wasn't there, and I should have been. And I'm sorry. And I'd like to try, if you'll let me. I don't know if they'll respond. They might not. And if they don't, I'll understand. Because I taught them that silence is an acceptable response. But maybe some of you watching this still have time. Maybe your kids are still young. Or maybe they're grown, but the door isn't completely closed yet. If that's you, don't wait. Don't wait for the right moment or the right words or the right circumstances. Just show up. Really show up. Because 68 years old, sitting alone, wondering if your children will come to your funeral, that's a special kind of pain. And it's pain you can prevent. My phone's on the table right now. I keep hoping it'll ring. Don't let your children grow up hoping you'll call. Don't let them grow up learning to live without you, because one day they will, and then it really will be too late. I'm Mike. I'm 68, and I finally understand.